is an organization of the new nervous system, and there is really two categories of nervous system. The one is central nervous system. The other one is peripheral nervous system. So the abbreviation is CNS and PNS. And the central nervous system, it is consists of our brain and spinal cord. And the peripheral nervous system consists of all the other nerves in our body except our brain and spinal cord. That's why, so it is consists of our body consists of all nervous system. Do you understand?
Right.
Okay, and let's look at the diagram here. Okay, the nervous system is like that. The firstly is just divided into two, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, as we previously referred like this. And central nervous system also divided into two. One is brain, the other one is spinal cord. And peripheral nervous system is also divided into two. One is autonomic and the other was somatic. So somatic is something, some nerves related our musculine, musculine. And autonomic is we cannot regulate and not, or we cannot control the thing, the nerves. It is just automatically just to reflex. So autonomic nervous system also divided into two things. One is sympathetic and the other one is parasympathetic. And let's go over sympathetic, somatic nervous system. Somatic nervous system is this one. Okay, this one. It is just behind the under the peripheral nervous system. Somatic. So somatic nervous system controls our voluntary muscle movement. Voluntarily. So we can control our muscle movement. The motor cortex of the brain sends impulses to the somatic nervous system, like our hand, our leg, our neck, like this. So, which controls the muscles that allow us to move. But autonomic nervous system is the opposite. We cannot control. The autonomic nervous system controls the autonomic function of our body, like our heart, lungs, internal organs like kidney and something like that, and glands and so on. These nerves control our responses to stress. So it is very related our stress. So when we got a lot of stress, it's just to like, just to regulate, and then it's just to imbalance the autonomic nervous system. So they just react like the fight or flight response. They prepare our body to respond to a perceived threat. So it's just to deny or just to fight. Flight is just to deny. So the autonomic nervous system is divided into two categories, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Let's go over. So sympathetic nervous system is it is mobilize our body to respond to stress. So that's why the stress is really, really important for our body health. This part of our nervous system carries messages to the control system of the organs like kidney and heart and lung and something like that, and glands and muscles that direct our body's response to stress. Direct. This is the alert system of our body. Alert system. It accelerates some function such as heart rate, blood pressure, and respiration. That's why when you got a lot of stress, our heart rate responds something like differently, and also blood pressure as well. But combos resources needed for a quick response by slowing down other functions such as digestion. That's why when you got a lot of stress, we have some like, some kind of like suffer from indigestion. So do you understand what it means?
Oh, right. I see.
Okay, and parasympathetic nervous system. This nervous system is responsible for slowing down our body after a stress response. Slowing down. It carries messages to the stress response system that causes our body to slow down. So think of the parasympathetic nervous system as the brake pedal. It's a kind of brake pedal per a car or just a bicycle or motorbike that slows down the body's automatic nervous system. So if it just dysfunction, then our body just break down. So it makes a lot of trouble. So it is really, really dangerous situation. So it is also really important system.
Oh, like when
And
you're really tired, like that.
yeah. So we have to be very careful about this nervous system. So nervous system is also everything is just related our neuron and then every like cells. So that's why we need some like nutritional food and then some periodically we have to exercise well because of this nervous system function well. Mhm.
Oh.
And normal peripheral nervous system transmission. Let us use an example to demonstrate how sensory information gets to our brain. While on a late night quest for a snack, you stop your toe on a cast iron coffee table. Sensory neurons in your toe are activated, and this message is transmitted up a neuron that runs from your toe to the base of your spine. The message continues up your spinal cord or more afferent nerves until it enters your brain through the brainstem and is transmitted to the brain's, let me see, sensory cortex. And you have solved your poor little toe. So your motor cortex now send impulses down the spinal cord to the muscles controlling your leg and foot, causing you hop up and down, holding your damaged limb, muttering under your breath. Mm. And let's look at reflexes. This is an important exception. So most sensory information and muscle movements are controlled by the process described above. But, however, humans have a few reflexes that work differently. So, these certain reactions occur the moment sensory impulses reach the spinal cord. If you stimulate the correct area just below your kneecap, like kneecap, your leg will jerk without your conscious control, unconsciously. This is just a reflex.
Mm.
Yeah, this sensory information is processed by the spine, and the spine tells your leg to move. The information reaches your brain, and you realize your knee has been stimulated, but only after this reflex has occurred. Another important reflex occurs in response to intense heat or cold. If we touch an object that is very hot or very cold, then our spine will just send back a message jerking us away from that object. Maybe you experience like this kind of situation. Yeah, this might help keep us from harming ourselves, so it has very adaptive value. So it might help us to survive. Therefore, this trait has passed on our children. That's why there is a reflexive function in our body. You understand?
Mm. So just like when we are cold, like our lips tremble like that, is it part of our reflexes?
Yeah, it can be, yeah, kind of like reflexes. And also, if you just touch very hot pot, then you just to like
Yeah,
move
move
back.
your hand away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Then just to protect your skin from
Mm.
that one, skin from burning. So yeah, it is also reflexes. So it might help us like survive us. So it is really, really helpful for our lives. And so, that's why I think like as we like study more about our body and health and more, I think if somebody make a human, he is really, really genius. Yeah,
Right. I totally
yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah, yeah, like a god, the
Yes.
god is really, really genius. Oh, so our body is really complicated and complex, and then wow, combined it into every like function, and it just automatically and then sometimes very functionally well doing. So that's why we just survive well, and then we live well. So a really amazing and a really thankful for God. Yeah.
I really agree with that one.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
is very powerful.
yeah, yeah. Wow, wow. Amazing, amazing. And the brain also, possibly the most relevant part of biology to psychologists is the brain. As far as we can tell, the brain controls most of human thought and behavior. Yeah, this is like let's say like if it is a computer and this is kind of CPU. Yeah, and researchers now quite a bit about brain anatomy and function, but many mysteries still remain about how the brain functions. Studying how the brain works is challenging because we cannot simply observe brain function the way we might observe a heart beating. To our eyes, a brain thinking looks exactly like a brain not thinking. So researchers are just discovering many new details about how the brain works through experimentation and the use of technology like MRI, CT, and something like that. However, we still have a long way to go because we really understand how the brain controls our thought and behavior. There is a homework a lot left. And also this is really important subject topic, ways of studying the brain. Like as mentioned previously, the first challenge of brain research is creating a way of detecting brain function. So the following describes some of the methods researchers use. Firstly, accident. So, like in 1848, a railroad worker named Phineas Gage, he was involved in an accident that damages the front part of his brain here.
Mhm.
And Gage's doctor took notes documenting the brain damage and how Gage's behavior and personality changed after the accident. Actually, before the accident, he was very reliable and generous and good people, warm, open-minded person. But after the accident, his personality has changed a lot. Like accidents like this give researchers clues about brain function. So his prefrontal lobes case became highly emotional, like very angry, well, and impulsive. He just like is do something right now, and then after the accident. So researchers conclude that the part of the brain, just here, front part, damages in the accident are somehow involved in emotional control. So because of like according to the accident, the researchers can just find out how brain function just related to the part. And next one is listens. Listening is a kind of like a removal or destruction of part of the brain. Removal. This is of course never done purely per experimental purpose. Never done. But sometimes doctors decide that the best treatment for a certain condition involves surgery that will destroy or incapacitate part of the brain. For example, a person may develop a brain tumor that cannot be removed without removing part of the surrounding brain. Then, when this type of surgeries are performed, doctors closely monitor the patient's let me see, subsequent behavior per changes. Anytime brain tissue is removed, listening, researchers can examine behavior changes and try to infer the function of that part of the brain. A famous historical example of reasoning is the frontal lobotomy. So in the past, this surgery was used to control mentally ill patients with no other treatment option. But researchers knew that listening part of the frontal lobe would make the patient calm and relieve some serious symptoms. So drug treatment have now replaced frontal lobotomies. So these days, this surgery seldom used because of a lot of like side effect, and then it is really, really dangerous. And next one is EEG. EEG is the abbreviation of electroencephalogram. So it detects brain waves. So there are alpha wave, beta wave, gamma wave, there's many waves. So researchers can examine what type of waves the brain produce during different stage of consciousness. So during the sleep time, the gamma like waves, and then the working time, the alpha waves, it just produce. And they use this information to generalize about brain function. Oh, so for example, during the working time, the gamma waves, like usually the gamma waves, it just function well during the sleeping time, but it just will function well, then it like show some like problem. So the EEG is widely used in sleep research to identify the different stages of sleep and dreaming. So this EEG program is very usefully and efficiently used per the sleep disorder patient. Mhm. And the other one is CT and MRI. You might know this one, you might heard, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. So CT or CAT is a computerized axial tomography scan. It's a sophisticated X-ray. So CAT scan uses several X-ray cameras, that rotate around the brain and combine all the picture into a detailed three-dimensional picture of the brain structure. And note that the CT scan can show only the structure of the brain, only the structure, not the function or the activity of different brain structure. So doctor could use CAT scan to look for a tumor in the brain, but would not get any information about how active different parts of the brain are. That's why new like gadget, magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, just made. It is really similar to a CAT scan in a way. Both scan give you picture of the brain. However, the MRI uses different technology to create more detailed images. An MRI uses magnetic fields to measure the density and location of brain material. Since the MRI does not use X-rays like the CAT scan does. So the patient is not exposed to carcinogenic radiation like the CAT scan. MRI gives doctors information about only the structure of the brain, not the function. And nextly, position, positron emission tomography, PET. This scan lets researchers see what area of brain are most active during certain tasks. A PET scan measures how much of a certain chemical, like glucose, part of the brain are using. The more used, the higher the activity. Different types of scans are used for different chemicals, such as neurotransmitters, drugs, and oxygen flow. And the final one is functional MRI, fMRI. This is the newest one. This is a new technology that combines elements of the MRI and PET scan. So an fMRI scan can show details of brain structure with information about blood flow in the brain, tying brain structure to brain activity during cognitive tasks. So this is really helpful to analyze like psychological task, fMRI. And next one is brain structure and function. All the different methods of studying the brain gives researchers different type of information about brain structure and function. The brain is the most complicated organ in the body. In some ways, it is the most complex object we know. Researchers categorize hundreds of different, let me see, parts and functions of different parts of the brain. Because of this complexity, we need to divide the brain into separate categories in order to keep track of the information. So when you study and think about the brain, think about three separate major categories or sections: hindbrain, midbrain, and forebrain. So next time we'll discuss about these three kinds of brain. So some evolutionary psychologists organize these categories into two major divisions: the old brain and the new brain. So today we will let's call it a day, and then tomorrow we will continue this kind of brain: hindbrain, midbrain, and forebrain. Okay, do you have any question about today's lecture?
No, I don't have any questions so far. It's really interesting, especially the technologies that you can use when it comes to brain and its functions.
Okay, it is very good. So enjoy your day and see you tomorrow.
Yes, thank you so much and have a great day ahead. Kim. Bye. Thank you. Have a good day.